When a dot on a map has a 4.8 Google rating with hundreds, if not thousands, of reviews, you gotta stop and check it out. And so I find myself at the Manzanar National Historic Site, National Park Service, U.S. Department of the Interior. And I didn't know what this was until I pulled over and I started reading about it. And this is one of 10 internment camps where the United States government sent 110,000 Japanese during the World War II. So right after Pearl Harbor. So I'm gonna take you for a little tour of the Manzanar National Historic Site. And from what I read on some of the reviews, it's really an interesting place to visit. Icon of confinement. From 1942 to 1945, 8 U.S. Army Guard towers loomed over more than 11,000 Japanese Americans held in Manzanar. For most of that time, the U.S. military police manned the towers, a visual reminder that the unconstitutionally incarcerated people were not allowed to leave without permission. The barbed wire separated us from the rest of the world, Shinamura remembered. With the shouted warnings from the armed guards on the towers, we learned to keep our distance. Look at that. See if I can zoom in a little bit on it. Sure. So there's your icon of confinement right there. Look at that backdrop. Isn't that something? This would be one of two entrances. This is the historical entrance to Manzanar War Relocation Center, and the other entrance is the visitor center. So with the choice of the two, I decided to come into the historical entrance of this relocation center. So we'll drive in, and I don't know if this will take me over to the visitor center, but we'll soon find out. Here is one of two, I guess, gatehouses, if you want to call it that. Maybe a guardhouse here at the entrance. And there is I'm assuming this is where many of the Japanese were kept, right here on these grounds right here. So I see some information boards, and I'll walk up and take a look. What does that say? That says the internal police station. So that's where the police station was, right there. The Manzanar Riot. Perhaps no other event in the history of Manzanar has evoked more emotion, produced more rumors, or inspired more debate than the fatal confrontation between the U.S. Army military police and incarcerated Japanese at this site on the night of December 6, 1942. The episode was triggered by Manzanar administrator's arrest of Harry Ueno for his alleged role in the beating of Japanese American Citizens League leader Fred Tayama the night before. Claiming that Ueno had been wrongly accused, hundreds of Japanese Americans protested during the day on December 6. That demonstration ended peacefully. And if you want to find out what happened next, you're just going to have to Google the Manzanar Riot, because I'm not going to stand there and read the whole thing for you. But injustice, another tragedy. All about nighttime, December 6th, as the moonless night grew colder, more people wandered onto the scene, some only minutes before the deadly climax. Wow. Interesting. It says Manzanar Free Press right there. A historical find For nearly 80 years, the three known sketches of the December 6, 1942 events at this location were in English. In 2020, a Manzanar historian found this diagram of events described in Japanese in a box uncatalogued of uncatalogued items at the local museum. Really something else. All right, we'll go see what's on the other side. A community apart. More relocation authority workers and their families, more than 400 people, lived within the same barbed wire fence that confined 11,000 Japanese Americans. But those government workers enjoyed higher pay, better apartments, and freedom. What was it like to live here? When people are thrown together day after day, and at the end of the working hours still find themselves in each other's presence, there's no way, short of a deep and lasting coma, for them to ignore their fellow man, Manzanar music teacher Lou Frizzle wrote. In time, this constant awareness makes everyone decide that everyone else is a little peculiar, and I suppose everyone is. Children of the staff were all in the same boat, according to Art Williams, whose father was assistant police chief. There was no new kid on the block barrier to penetrate. Everyone lived in a similar housing. Wow. Look at that. I'll look this up when I get situated tonight. I'll look it up on YouTube. I bet you I could find plenty of information about this part of American history. Well, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to give you the whole tour. The visitor center isn't open today. It's open, I think Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday is when you can go into the visitor center. So unfortunately, I won't be able to share that with you. But maybe I can take a walk back. Those might be some houses back there, or barracks, if you will. But we will see. Looks like they have rocks from different locations. That Topaz, Utah, 8,130. I'm imagining that's feet. And here is Minidoka, Idaho, my home state, 9,397 feet. They must have brought those in from those locations. But there would be the visitor center that I unfortunately can't share with you. But maybe there will be an opportunity to walk in some of these barracks back here, which I'm assuming that's what they are. But then again, maybe not. Well, I can only imagine this has to be where they resided. Oh, now there's an information panel right across here. And it actually looks like the door is open. So maybe we can go inside and take a look. It says crowded quarters. On March 7th, 1942, Lieutenant General John DeWitt announced that the U.S. Army would build a reception center, quote unquote, for Japanese Americans at Manzanar. 2 weeks later, the first people forced from their LA homes arrived here to a chaotic construction zone. So you imagine going out of the comfort of your home in LA and walking up here. Look at this. This is Barracks 1. Wow. So my attitude changed because I thought it's sort of like an adventure for a teenager. But when I started seeing that my dad is losing his business, we're losing all our property. He lost his new car that he'd worked so darn hard for. What for? Then when finally we went to camp is when I realized the injustice of the whole thing. Wow, look at this. I wish I could share the smell with you in here. There you go, look at. There's a game that they were playing. And that's something. Boy, I remember those U.S. Army blankets all too well. Very warm. Very, very warm. I'm glad I stopped. The tar paper city, that tar paper city. Do's and don'ts, following and resisting WRA rules. Really something. All right, who wants a pickup game? Look at this. They have the baskets right here. I can't imagine they really had a court. I would think they were probably playing on gravel. So here is another, what I'm assuming is another barracks. Well, look at that. That's what you call survival. I'm not gonna read that. There's no shortage of stuff online for people that are interested to read about the history of this place. Let's take a look inside here. Now this, I don't know, maybe this was the staff working. Look at that. Boy, they really have done a nice job preserving this. And I found my way to the woman's latrine. There's a space for the man's latrine, but there's nothing there. So maybe that building didn't serve. But look at this. Enduring humiliation. Cherry-Yamada Uyeda never forgot her first impression of Manzanar. It was devastating. The worst thing was what they call the latrine, the separate little shack building, the toilets lined up, and you'd wonder, what is this? Is this for us? And each block, 2 latrines, one for women, one for men, served about 300 people. Women's latrines had 10 toilets. Look at that. Wow. And of course you had your showers right there. Really something else. Well, this will be my last stop here at this facility. And this right here would be looks like the ironing room. Look at this. Well, maybe this was the ironing room right here, or was the ironing room. There's an old car. Oh, that would be the big buildings are going to be the mess halls. Right up here. Look at that. This is mess hall kitchen number 14. Right here. And having served 3 years in the military, I'm all too familiar with the mess hall. And it didn't take me long in my 3 years of the military to find out that you're quick to make friends with the cooks, the mail room staff, and the people that check in your weapons after you've cleaned them. That's who you want to make friends with. Look at that. Slop suey, lining up for meals, getting food slopped at us, all on one plate is making many feel like hobos and tramps waiting in a bread line. Look at the size of that pot. Wow. There's secret storage under there. People created spaces hidden from the WRA's gaze, including cellars they dug by hand in their barracks and mess halls for extra space. All right, folks, I hope you enjoyed this. Well, I don't know if the word is enjoyed. I hope you appreciated this visit to this very special place.